Hello, Raya. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hi. We're back. Yet again. Lady Vivian. Hi. Welcome, welcome. Just in time. We're just starting. Um, it's Cinco de Mayo. I forgot that it was Cinco de Mayo until yesterday. I didn't have anything like grand planned out in advance. But thankfully, I thought about it yesterday, so I was able to get the beans soaking. So we're gonna make some beans. We're gonna make some beans in a style that I have not done before. But I did the overnight soak, so our beans are soaked. Can confirm stream works in Denmark. Good. I was worried. I was deeply concerned. Thank you for confirming. Frijoles puercos with the beans. And I also want to make esquites. I would make elote, but this is not corn season. This is not corn season, so getting fresh sweet corn on the cob is really not possible. You can get bad corn right now, but if you want good corn, it's got to be frozen corn. So we're going to do esquites using frozen corn. Let's get the frozen corn out. We could have done the pressure cooker soak if we had forgotten, but it is better to soak them slowly. We're actually going to do a pressure cooker cook to get them through, so we don't have to cook them because the cook takes a while. So the pressure cooker is going to be used to get the cook on them. But I prefer a slow soak to a pressure soak. I think it gives you a better bean in the end. Personal opinion. Obviously, if you're crunched for time, the pressure cooker does it right quick. The thing I did not remember to do yesterday was start marinating some meat. So we do not have an asada that I can pull out and ready to go. So we're going to have to make do with something. We could do shrimp. Ooh, we could do shrimp. Shrimp doesn't take long to like I can't do beef now because you gotta marinate the beef for a long time. Also, the beef is frozen. Same thing with chicken. We could thaw out the chicken, but the chicken we want to marinate, so we would have to do a non-marinated chicken. But I do have some shrimp, so we could do shrimp. I'll have to do some research. I'll have time to do some research while stuff is cooking. We're gonna start over here. I do have the instructions out. Because I want to make sure we do this right for beans. 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 Ugh, by weight. It's been soaked. It says it only needs 3 minutes of cook time after a soak, which is insane. Otherwise, they take 30 minutes with no soak, which we could have done, but I'm going for the thing. Seafood medley. Let's see. What have I got? I've got shrimp, salmon, sea snails, a different kind of shrimp, surimi, orange roughy, a third kind of shrimp, chicken thighs, frozen lobster claw, possibly. My model was not on the recall. Also, the recall was because the lock didn't work. You could open it while it was pressurized. Now, it's not that it would blow off, but you could like open it while it was under pressure, and then it of course would blast you with super steam, and that's pretty bad. Also, hi! Welcome in. I see you said hi at the beginning, and then I didn't say hi, but hi. Anyways, I did not weigh my beans. I scooped them. I did them by volume, so I have no idea how much my beans weigh. And I think you just need to like make sure there's enough water in there. But this water is getting poured out. The soaking water gets poured out. The slow soak, unlike the fast soak, helps extract some of the farty elements of the bean. That make you fart. I'm going to pull out some of that. A couple of them are broken. That one just looks kind of gnarly, so I'm going to throw that one out. I'm not really worried about these broken ones. We're going to mash them up anyways. Nothing was floating, so I don't think there were any real bad ones. But when they do the soak, that stuff extracts into the soaking water. Hence, pour out the soaking water. And then, I think I'll just take this over here. The thing said 6 cups of water. There's a cup measure on the side. And we don't season the beans at this stage. If you salt your beans now, the skins will want to peel off in the cooking process, which is not what we're looking for. We're looking for nice beany beans. Because I'm not going to make a full puree. We're going to kind of have a lumpy refried bean. Lock, high pressure, 3 minutes, and then slow release. Had to make an example of that one bean. That doesn't take as long as I thought it was going to. We might be on a quick trajectory. Oh, I've got 3 things I want to do today, so I don't need to do the corn right away. I'm going to hang on to that. Small kernel things like corn, peas, thaw so quickly that you can usually just cook them directly from frozen. And we're going to do that with that corn when we get that far. We need to char that corn. But ideally the corn will still be warm when we serve it, so I don't want to cook that part too early because we're going to char it and then dress it and serve it. Whereas the beans are going to cook a lot more after this stage because we're refrying our beans. So I guess we'll think about shrimp orange roughy. Well, I want to make a burrito. Burrito. Or 2. And we have options. The sea snails are probably not going to be worth doing. We have a couple different sizes of shrimp. When I say different kinds of shrimp, I've got colossal shrimp. I've got red Gulf of Mexico shrimp. I've got tiger shrimp, and then I've got some kind of standardized farmed shrimp from China or Vietnam. Some kind of farmed Asian shrimp. I've got a lamb chop. We're not doing a lamb chop. I was thinking because shrimp and other seafood takes marinade much faster. I could do a marinated shrimp because there's going to be frijoles puercos are going in the burrito. I watched a video. I watched a video from Adam Witt where he made 5 different kinds of burritos, and I thought they looked good, and one of them looked especially good, and it has frijoles puercos and carne asada in it. And I can't do the carne asada because I forgot to start marinating a piece of meat yesterday. And then I also want to make esquites as a side. I might serve more of the beans on the side as well, but that's the plan. Mexican style burritos tend to be very much thinner. American style burritos are these giant, like, fat things, and they take up a ton of room in there usually with rice taking up a lot of extra space. You just take the rice out and it becomes much skinnier, which is why the burrito tortillas they use at like Chipotle are such gigantic things, because they have to be even bigger than a standard burrito because they got to fit all that rice in there. I don't know why they do that. Just get 2. Just make them half the size and make 2 of them. Whatever. I'm not making my own tortillas. Someday we'll make our own tortillas. I don't think I'm ready to do that today. So I bought tortillas. So our meat options. The Gulf shrimp are probably the one I should use because it's the most... These guys, they were reduced. And then I froze them. I didn't take them out of this thing. I just froze it directly because they were shell on. So I figured that would be enough to protect them. Because America? Gulf of Mexico. If they were going to... If you're going for a traditional shrimp for Mexican cuisine, it's going to be either this or it's going to be Pacific shrimp. Because obviously those are the two coasts that Mexico has. And I don't have any like Pacific Ocean shrimp. I have a bunch of farm shrimp, and then that, which is wild caught Gulf shrimp. We won't need a ton of these. The burrito's only that big. We could. I've done. Remember, I did. If you remember, I did tortilla chips, flour tortilla chips at one point. We could try that again. Those were really good, and they were super easy. I have a smaller kind of tortilla too that we could cut up to do that with. Okay, that's not a bad idea. Do some chips on the side. Have a texture difference, a crisp. I don't have any corn tortillas. I can't do it with corn. I can't do the corn chip thing. Let's assemble all of our players though. We've got lots of things going on. I think we're gonna go with that shrimp. I did get some lard. We're doing it for real with lard. And some chorizo. Peppers, tomatoes, white onion, lime, avocado, garlic, chile de árbol. I did need chile guajillo. That's going to stay in there so it doesn't get lost. Onion powder, garlic powder, oregano, bay, cumin. I'm actually low on cumin, but we've got enough to get us through today. I'm going to play with the flavors. I'm not strictly following a recipe here. Oh, the cheeses. Oaxaca. I got a very lumpy one, but queso Oaxaca. And queso cotija. Ooh, I should check to see if this is any good still. Been a second since I peeked in here. Yep, yeah, still good. Oh, it's definitely gone to the sour cream end of the crema though. It's got that sour cream ness on it. Crema. I like this stuff because if you don't get to it right away, it doesn't really spoil. It just gets a little bit more sour creamy. The tortillas, the beans are in the pot. I also have minced garlic, so I can do 3 kinds of garlic. We can really garlic this up. That's what I get. Oh! Chipotle in adobo. Assemble the players. Assemble the players. I think that's gonna be salt. It's already out because it lives out here. Let's double check. Frijoles, Puerco. This one wants pickled jalapeno with the brine. Whole chipotle peppers in adobo, but I got chopped because it's easier to portion them out because they come in a jar instead of a can. It's the same thing. Chorizo, lard, the beans, onions, and then the cheese. Cheese goes directly in the thing. We could roast garlic. I don't have roasted garlic on hand. We could roast garlic. What I do have on hand for another kind of garlic is black garlic. Oh, boy, that stuff is it smells like oh, what is that? It's molasses. It smells like molasses. Stuff's a little bit tricky to use. You really have to mash it into a paste, and then it becomes very, very sticky in the process of doing that. But it gives you a wonderful sort of dark, deep flavor. And it's surprisingly very sweet, which is probably why it smells like molasses. We don't use it very much because I find it awkward to use. We should probably start frying the chorizo. We should probably thaw some of the shrimps. That, I think, is our best bet. I did kind of pull out the stops for ingredients this time around. But some of these we're only going to use part of. Like the lard, we're only going to use a couple tablespoons of lard. So we'll have lard to play with in the future. Lard doesn't really go off. I mean, it eventually does, but it takes forever. They don't even refrigerate it at the grocery store how much it keeps. Let's see. These guys are frozen together. How many shrimps do you think we want? Four, 5. Six. Jay. Hi. Welcome. Yeah, lard definitely has a lot of uses. We're going to find ways to use lard. For 8 shrimp. Because shrimp are going to be inside the burrito. We don't need a ton of shrimp. I don't really want to make excess shrimp. Lard is also, weirdly, lower in saturated fat than butter. So if you're concerned about saturated fat in your diet, it's got less than butter. I don't know that it's one-to-one substitutable with butter in most things because it's pretty different. But unlike, say, beef tallow that is super rock hard when rendered and cooled, lard is a bit softer. So we're going to put some cold water on these shrimps and just let them thaw over here. Until we need them. I'm going to take the remaining shrimps, put them in this bag here, and get them back in the freezer, because we don't want to preemptively thaw them unless we're going to use them. So Jay, how's it going? Welcome in. Oop, oh. They're coming out as a brick. They're coming out as a brick. Which is not a problem. I just want to get the, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to think of we're going to be thinking about how we flavor our shrimp while we're doing other things. Again, shrimp don't take very long to cook, so I'm not massively worried about. Oh, I got to get on top of it like I would be if I was dealing with, like if I thawed out chicken to do this. Even short term, I would want to get some flavor into the chicken, and also it takes a bit of time to cook it. So there would be considerations, but the shrimp cook so fast that I'm not even gonna worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Our pressure cooker is at pressure and cooking. It's only running for 3 minutes, but then it has to slow depressurize, so it is going to sit in there for a while. You remember last time I did pressure work over there, and I mentioned that it's been giving me some strange wisps of steam around the top, and it seems to take a while to pop the thing, and then it eventually gets there. I didn't exactly like take it apart and clean it, but I kind of opened it up, disabled the safety latch, and just futzed around with all the seals, and now it's not doing that anymore. So I think one of the gasket seals was slightly off, where just the teeniest little wisp would get through before it sealed up. Because it's not doing that at all. There's no wisps at all now. It's perfectly fine. So I guess make sure to get in the lid part and clean around your gaskets every once in a while. Make sure they're actually seating in there. You guys had an election recently, Jay. Congratulations. I was following along. It was quite the thing. And that, ladies and gents and in-betweens, is lard. I want, from this block, about 2 tablespoons. So I'm literally going to use a tablespoon. and take off roughly 2 tablespoons. Doesn't need to be exact. And then you can lick your finger. But unlike with butter, it doesn't taste like anything. That was our 3-minute beep, beep, beep. The pressure cooking is done. We just have to now let it sit there for 10 minutes and slowly depressurize. Let's slide... No, let's not slide over. I'm going to cut a couple more things on this side before I slide over. I will repackage that lard in a sec. This guy. There has been, I've been victim of it, and I know I've talked to a number of other people who've been victim of it. There's confusion about chorizo, because there are 2 very, very different things called chorizo. There's Mexican chorizo, which is what this is, and then there's Spanish chorizo, which is also called dry chorizo, which is a sausage that you can like slice. The spices in them are very similar. This one, which we're just going to use half of, is like a paste. It's like a thick paste, and it will not form a nice slice. You cannot like do sausage things with it. They behave very, very differently, and the fact that they have the same name is just kind of confusing. So we're going to put our heat on over here. Once the lard has melted, we're going to put this chorizo in there. And fry it until it's like on the edge of going crispy. That's the goal. That's the target. But the first time I got Mexican chorizo, I was thinking in my head of Spanish chorizo, which I quite like. So I bought some intending to slice it and use it like a sausage. And when I got in, because Mexican chorizo is also a lot cheaper, I was like, oh, great. That's a great price for a chorizo. So I got some, and then I didn't know what to do with it. I tried frying it up, because I was like, this obviously can't just be sliced like a sausage. I'll try frying it up. Maybe it's like a ground meat. It doesn't fry up like ground meat properly, because there's a lot of... I mean, if you're squeamish, don't read the ingredients on this stuff. You know, the old, you don't want to know how the sausage is made. Stuff is very tasty, but there's bits in it. So you had one that cooked like ground beef. I've seen those too, where they're made mostly with muscle meat, but traditionally they're made from the offcuts, the bits that they had nothing else to do with. And then they grind it all up because they don't want gnarly bits in there. So it's fat, and it's trimmings, and it's some organ bits, and it's bits that they didn't know what else to do with. So they ground it up, threw a bunch of seasoning at it, and called it good. Our lard is just about melted. It melts very easily. Lard is great for frying. It melts quite easily like butter, but unlike butter, it does not burn until you get really freaking hot with it. It has a very high smoke point. And it comes in, it's cheaper than a lot of the other oils as well. with the downside of being higher in saturated fat than like soybean oil. I also think it's a little bit more expensive than soybean oil, but among the high smoke point oils, so you got to squeeze it out like I just did there, and then we got to break it up. Nope. The fat in the chorizo itself makes it kind of sticky, but as it heats up and that breaks down, it starts to fall apart like it is now. It is definitely trying to stick to the bottom of my pot. I might have chosen the wrong pot for this. But we can cross that bridge as we plow through it. I want it to fully separate and render out, and for the bits to go crispy, and for the oil to get really red. So we're gonna let that, now that it's sort of flattened out, we're gonna let that cook. We're going to come back to it every once in a while and check it out. I'm gonna bag up the other half of the chorizo. Sausage is delicious, and I know how it's made, and it doesn't bother me, but I know that some people can get very squeamish, and sausage is the thing where all the squeamish stuff goes, and then they grind it up so you can't see it. Okay, while that guy's going over there, we're going to slide back. I'm not going to use that knife for it, though. We're going to use a proper knife. We need it's a big onion, so probably a quarter of this onion. Taking the root off, and I'm taking the tip off. And we'll lean over and push this stuff around every once in a while. Nope, it is definitely sticking to the bottom quite a bit. I might be tempted to deglaze it now, because I think it's stuck right away. So I think I'm going to put a little bit of water in there and then cook the water off, just so that I can kind of deglaze it a little bit. If I had some tequila, hold on. Do I have any tequila? Do I have a tequila? Ooh, is that? No, that's Campari. No, I don't have any tequila. I was gonna say we could deglaze it with a little bit of tequila. That would be on point. What do you think is a good substitute? What do we think might be a good substitute for a deglaze with a little bit of tequila? Honestly, water is the safe fallback. vodka would be probably super neutral too. Frass. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. You spelled your name there for a sec. Oh my god. Frass. 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 What are you doing? What are you doing? Oop, that's the wrong thing. What are you doing? Welcome in. Raiders, get in here. Oh my god, I can't be too distracted. Raiders, get in here. I definitely need to deglaze my pan because we're burning on the bottom, so we're going to do that real fast. I'm just going to use water because I can no longer... have to think about it. Frass, welcome, welcome. I was watching you earlier. You're still on your earthworm gym thing. How's it going? How was the rest of the stream? You're diving for mayo? There will be mayo later today. Mayo is one of the ingredients of Esquites. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Deglaze that pan. Those of you who are already here, Fraz. I've never seen Fraz do a... Have you done cooking? Have you done cooking? We're just kind of buddy channels. I watch Fraz. Fraz plays... Fraz's thing is he goes through entire franchises of games, usually ones that start in the 90s. He's been doing Earthworm Jim lately. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. We're not burned to the bottom anymore. Welcome, welcome, Raiders, Raiders. Let's see. Now that that's not actively burning, happy Cinco de Mayo. Vulcan, Pixel, Styly, Strider, NMT, Fraz himself, FT, Fraz himself again. You made Fizzy Baileys in your first ever cooking stream. Wow, you've done many a cooking stream. I must just miss them. I know a lot of people do variety of things. I have too many Twitch friends these days, and I can't be on everybody's channel I want to be on. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Heterochroma made sausages with Dr. Andani recently. Well, thank you so much for bringing your community over. We are doing Cinco de Mayo today. I need to release the pressure on my beans. I was just about to mince up this onion when you came in, and yeah. So what we've got going on the stove is lard and chorizo. Bookwoman sub. Oh yes, Bookwoman. Thank you so much for the sub in the middle of all the... So my feed, all the Raiders are highlighted. So it's taking up a lot of extra room. None of you see that, but that's on my end. Thank you so much, Bookwoman. Welcome back. Prime sub. How many months is that? 31 months. It's a lot of months. I have done this wrong. So yeah, on the stove we have lard and chorizo, to which I'm about to add onions that I've cut in the stupidest way. So now I'm just going to kind of hack at them to make them little bits. In the pressure cooker we have beans, and we're going to combine all of these concepts into frijoles puercos. And then we're also going to make esquites. which don't take nearly as long, so they're going to go later while all this stuff is simmering. Lost an onion there. Make sure we're not sticking again. We are not sticking again. It was really just, it stuck right at the beginning. So I don't have, or do I? Actually, hold on. Before I say I don't have pickled jalapenos, let's see if maybe I have one that I don't know I have. That happens a lot. I have pickled banana pepper. I have, what are you? Little shrimps, more little shrimps. I have the leftover shrimp stock. We should have deglazed our pan with that. That would have given us some dimension and flavor. We might put a splash of that in regardless. I do not have pickled jalapenos. I have pickled banana peppers, which aren't the same thing. But I have fresh jalapenos and vinegar, so we're going to do that instead. So yeah. And then we're going to try to make some kind of a shrimp burrito at the end. So let's get over here. Let's grab a pepper. Since they're not pickled, they're a little bit firmer, so I'm going to put them in ahead of the beans and let them cook with the onions. Again, I don't know why I'm cutting these things in the most maddening ways. All right. Chuck those guys in. And then we are just kind of, we're at the stage where we're going to just kind of throw stuff in the pot here. We need to deglaze it again because we're starting to stick. This time I'm going to do it with vinegar. Vinegar, because I want some vinegar in there. Make sure that's vinegar. That's vinegar. Not every bottle under the sink is vinegar. This is a loud cooking. I keep banging, banging, banging. Yep, Fraz, take care of yourself. Thank you so much. Do all that post-stream stuff. If any of you want to hang out with a... Gosh, Fraz is like a pillar of the community at this point. Go check him out. Check out my Discord. Hey, we got people. I always forget to plug myself. I never plug myself. Where are you if you're here? Drop that Discord link. If you could. Otherwise, I can try to. It never works for me when I'm live. Invite people. Oh, I know why it doesn't. Because it's streamer mode. Radio's on top of it anyways. Pictures. Pictures are always posted in my Discord. They're posted in many other people's Discords as well. A number of you will probably see my pictures all the time, but the most reliable spot is always my Discord. The beans get unlocked. We are just going to start throwing stuff in this pot too. Chipotle in adobo. Get that recipe pulled up. Beans, chipotle, and adobo. Pickled jalapenos. Cheese right at the end. White onion and chorizo and beans. Yeah, now we throw in the beans. So stir this around. Bring the temperature down. We don't want to, we're at the point where we don't really want to fry it anymore. I want to get the beans out of the bean juice. And the bean juice pot is hot. Let's move. There. I don't want to throw out the bean juice though. We need some bean juice. So this thing, a strainer set over a large pot, or a large measuring cup. Is what we need. Results in bean juice. We don't need all of the bean juice, but we need some of it. And beans. Because we are, in fact, refrying these beans. And some of the juice. Whenever we need to deglaze from here on out, we can just use the bean juice. This thing needs to simmer for a while. So we're going to slide it to the back and we're going to start working on other stuff while it simmers away. Sound good? Sound good. I can delete that one for you if you'd like. I think I can delete that one for you. Fine, because I can't do it inside of OBS, but I could do it over here. Right? Dang it, I never use moderation tools. Every time I try to link to my server, it only gives you the link to Discord, not the server. Oh, yeah, that's not my server. And the main one just goes to Discord homepage. That's weird. My Discord has been wonky lately here. I will do... That one should be me. I will pin that. Okay. I figured out why I couldn't link it before. Discord turns on a safety mode when you've got a live stream going, and it won't actually display the link code. Okay. The beans are beaning. We're going to let them soften up a little bit through simmering. So I've got that on a fairly low heat back there. We're going to remember to push it around every once in a while, and then eventually we're just going to mash them together. Which means we move on to the next thing. And I guess the next thing should be the shrimps. The shrimps. Need that. Carne asada. We're not doing the carne asada. I guess we're doing shrimps. Right. They only need to marinate a short time. Skipping the citrus. Okay. Okay, I think I have a... I don't have to skip the citrus. We can... We can use some of my dried citrus for this. Okay, we don't want the grapefruit on the top. Do we want the lemon? The lemon or the oranges at the bottom? I think we want the oranges at the bottom. I have a lot of citrus. We're at the point where I need to stop purchasing citrus and drying it. My thing is filled full. That's a lemon. We're short on oranges. We're not short on oranges. They're all at the bottom. That's an orange. Cursed with abundance. I'm not sure how to get them out of there without dumping the whole thing out. I've overfilled my container. I used to be able to reach the lemons and oranges from the top, but now the grapefruit's in the way. Gonna make a mess over here real quick. Oranges. I just dumped them out, actually on the camera station, because there's nothing there right now. Where'd I put that lid? There it is. So I'm going to try to get some orange flavor into the shrimps. So I I have an idea. I have an idea. And it requires some boiling water. So out comes the kettle. We're gonna cut up our dried orange to hopefully make it rehydrate a little bit faster. We're going to rehydrate it in some boiling water along with that one because it's already got the seeds out of it because it broke. Guajillo. I'm just making stuff up now. I don't have a recipe pulled up. I'm just kind of crush some garlic. Garlic smasher. Oh, that's right. I didn't put any garlic in the beans. I'm going to put some garlic powder on the beans. There is garlic in the chorizo, so it's not like they're completely garlic free. Also, I will push the beans around a little bit. They're going to essentially simmer for the remainder of the day until I need them. And at some point we'll go in there and mash them with a smasher so that they're not just sloppy beans. The simmering will also help break down the onions and peppers that are in there. Why do I feel like I'm rushing all of a sudden? I need to chill out, calm down, slow down. The big raid got me all hyped up, and then I just didn't slow down again. Okay, garlic peeled. Take the little root end off. These are pretty fat garlics, so I'm also going to split them in half in order to fit them snugly in the smasher. And we smash our garlics. Let's see, I think Esquites needs fresh garlic, if I recall. But not as much. Don't use the blade of your knife to scrape off your garlic smasher. Use the heel, the back end, the blunt end. Doing that with the blade will destroy the blade. Get those shrimps. Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess I have to preload. I just have to remember to preload that link before I desperately need it in the middle of something. It's not that big a deal for me to do it. I just always forget, and then when we're in the middle of a thing, it won't give me a link while I'm live. Okay. Orange and the pepper. In the boiling water. That should soften them up enough for us to get them ground more finely. I don't want to boil the garlic, so I'm not putting the garlic in right away. The shrimp marinade. I'm kind of making up a shrimp marinade. Vinegar. I'm gonna want oregano. Onion powder. Smoked paprika. Fresh garlic. There's a guajillo chili in here and the orange. We're going to let that cool down until the point where it won't cook the shrimp anymore. Then I'm going to blend it. We're going to use that as the liquid part of a marinade. The shrimp only need to be in a marinade for 20 minutes. We do need to peel the shrimp, but we can do that while this is cooling. Some salt, but not a ton of salt. Some salt, but not a ton of salt. I think that's all she wrote. So while that's cooling, we can set things aside. We can bring our shrimps over. We can shell them. They're good looking shrimp. They're truly shell-on shrimp as well. Unlike the ones I normally get that are split along the back, these guys ain't split. So we're going to see if I have the ability to shell shrimp correctly. It has been a minute since I've had to do this, so yeah. Yeah, and then that's the poop chute. Which we also don't want, and we also don't want in our shells, so we save the shells. That wasn't so hard. And the poop chute comes out really well if you can find the end of it. Since these are wild caught shrimp, there's definitely going to be some grit in that. So ideally, you get it out without breaking it. Just because when they're out swimming around, they pick up some grit. That one's absent. The farm shrimp, the ones you normally get in like the big bulk bag, they're fed, obviously, and they go out of their way to make sure that they're not full of grit in their feed. Oop, I heard my Discord go ba-deep because I disabled streamer mode. Also, these shrimps are not cooked. The color is because they are a breed of shrimp, a species of shrimp, I should say, that is naturally kind of reddish. I'm hoping these will be very good. You know what I haven't asked today? How is everyone? And, of course, what are you all having for dinner? I missed Frass. He said he was going to go have his own dinner. I missed the opportunity to ask him what it was. But I love to hear about you guys cooking. For you said you had chorizo, but that wasn't today. Flemish. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Cinco de Mayo tequila shots. Nice, nice. Isosceles, Mr. Jones. Hello. You are having mayonnaise. We will be having mayonnaise here as well, but as a component, not as a main course. Okay, those shrimps, I got better as I went. Those shrimps were not that hard to peel. And, like I always say, with shell on Cinco de Mayo, I got it. I get it. I understand. Thank you. As I've always said repeatedly about shell on shellfish keeping really well in the freezer, except for the cut end, that's where freezer burn will show up. The common like easy peel shrimp that have already had the backs split, they'll also freezer burn along that split. These guys, they weren't split, so the only potential freezer, and you can actually see it on this guy, that sort of whitish thing, whitish little nub right at the end, just right where it was exposed, a little bit of freezer burn. Little known fact Flemish has for us here. Cinco de Mayo means the 5 of Mayo. It's true fact. Truer words were never spake. Okay, that's also going in a bag. We're going to marinate this guy in a bag. So that guy, those guys are going in that bag. We're getting rid of this before I juice the entire kitchen. Oh, I did juice the entire kitchen. There's a trail of shrimp juice on the floor. That's what I was, exactly the opposite of what I wanted. Clean that up before I step in it, because then I'll be tracking shrimp juice everywhere. Excuse me. Okay, that into which go our dry spices, our crushed garlic, and this, once it is no longer hot enough, and I'm going to attempt to blend it. It's no longer hot enough to burn my hand, so I don't think it's hot enough to cook the shrimp. Hey, you know what I forgot about in all the process of this? Beans. They are, once again, sticking to the bottom. This time they actually stuck a little bit too much. Some of those bits aren't brown, they're black. But that'll be okay. We'll just call it smokiness, right? But that means I'm going to turn my temperature down and probably put the lid on it. Okay. Lid for that one so it doesn't dry out. Because that's what happened there. It dried out. Lid, low temp. Continue the bruddling. Little bits of black. Yep, exactly. Black beans. Lower temperature in the future at the start, I think, although when it stuck right at the beginning, that wasn't burning. It was just the proteins in the chorizo sticking, binding. The same way that when you put a steak on a pan, right away it sticks, and then the proteins release. The problem was, of course, the chorizo wasn't a contiguous thing. This was a very gooey stuff. A lower temperature might help. But I think that because you're going to add liquid to it anyways, just understand that you're going to deglaze that stage. Whereas when you're on the simmer, I would keep the temperature low. Okay, let's not destroy myself with this. Well, there's stuff stuck to my blades, but it didn't spray boiling gunk all over me. So I call that a win. Anytime you're not covered in boiling slop, you're coming out ahead. You're coming out ahead. Anytime. So I know half of you are unfortunately not coming out ahead right now, but I really like the immersion blender. I only have one problem with that particular model of immersion blender, and it is that the chopper thing, the little dish with the lid, is not a high stress plastic, and it is cracking around the axle on the bottom. That's my only issue with it. Other than that specific thing, it works great. For just like blending with the stick, it works great. I forgot to do some cumin. I'm going to throw some cumin in here. I mean, if the axle breaks, then it doesn't work anymore, so yes, but I can show you exactly what I mean, too. This is no longer boiling hot, so I'm just going to throw it in there. And that's going to sit in the fridge until I need it, or until we forget about it. So this thing, it is cracking right around there because the stress of making it spin is overcoming the strength of the plastic. So that you see these cracks. That's the problem. It's the only problem I have with this model of thing. And it is, in fact, a crack that goes all the way through. I can feel that crack on both, that one right there on both sides. So this has pretty much been compromised, and I can't really use it. Which is a shame, because this thing, I discovered, is extremely good at making whipped cream. It makes a very stiff-peaked whipped cream. What did I save? Whatever I saved, I must have done it automatically because I wasn't even thinking about it. Beans. Shrimp's in the marinade. We don't need that to keep counting its numbers. I guess we move on to the Esquites. because then we'll grill the yeah. I guess we're moving on to the esquites, for which I want we're gonna use this pan. We're gonna use the old standby pan. Yeah, so if I can get a replacement of just the bottom part, I don't need the new blade, I don't need a new top. Those are both fine. Just that bottom bit. That'd be great. Other than that one component, I like it a lot. The scissors here don't. There we go. Hold on. I do have a reference up for Esquites. Blah, 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 blah. Oil. Oil first. They used wok. Interesting. Hey, you know what we've got? You know what kind of oil we've got some of? Lard. Let's just cook our esquites in lard. That's probably going to taste good, right? 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 Yes. That's probably enough. I don't need a massive ton of this stuff. Okay, esquites. You're probably familiar with the flavors of esquites, which I'm probably mispronouncing, because it is the same flavors as elote, street corn. It's just off the cob. Street corn. Let's see. Oil, corn, cheese, scallions, jalapeno pepper. We do need some fresh garlic, mayonnaise, lime juice, and I got out the crema because I think we're going to do a crema mayonnaise mix because I think that's my favorite combo for it. And some hot chili, which I'm going to go with ancho. That's what this one is, right? I need to use up some of these chili powders. Should have bought whole anchos, not, that is ancho. Should have bought whole anchos, not pre-ground stuff, because it loses its flavor. I don't use it fast enough. I don't do enough Mexican cooking. Oh, I forgot. These guys. Ugh, that's annoying. That's annoying. I was supposed to take out 2 chile de arbol and put them in the bean while it simmers. We fish them out later, but it kind of gives you a little infusion. And now that has to go in a jar somewhere. I have a jar of different kind of peppers. I have several jars of different kinds of peppers. I have to get out a fresh jar for arbol. Remind me to cook with dried peppers more. I've got a whole bunch of them. Replace the cord with edamame. I doubt it. Apart from it being a very different flavor, which I think is probably what you're angling towards, the sugar, the sweetness of the corn gives us this blackening surface that we're going to be going for. I don't think edamame has enough sugars to accomplish that. Let's make sure we're not... We are sticking. This keeps re-sticking on me. I also think that it needs to be wetted a little bit more and mashed now. So let's spread out our oil. You guys are looking at the wrong side. Spread out our oil. Throw in about half that bag. Get it all spread out. The issue is this part doesn't have a mixture. The flavored mixture comes later. It goes in naked like this because we want it to just kind of... We're essentially toasting the corn. Although now that I say that, we did do an experiment where we toasted beans at one point, and that worked really well. So I would say give it a try. Because I kind of just talked myself into maybe it working. Potato masher. Anyways, we need a little bit more liquid. And we need to mash our beans. And this step is the reason I chose a all metal pot to do the beans instead of a non-stick, even though there was the danger of sticking, because I knew I would have to kind of grind into it with my metal masher. If you're serving the beans as a dip, which I don't think I'm going to, you want them to be a little bit thinner so you can dip them in there, or dip things into them. If you are serving your beans in a burrito, which is what my intention was, we want them thicker because we want to form a bit more of a cohesive, sticky paste. Okay, that's pretty well mashed. Let's stir that around. Add a little bit more of our bean water to it. Yeah, yeah. Get over here. That is about the consistency where I would call it a decent dip. If I was going to actually serve it as a dip, I'd probably run it through either a strainer or a blender after fishing the chili peppers out, just to make it smooth. Advanced bean theory. I mean, that's why you guys come here, right? So that I can tell you things in a confident tone so that you will think that I know what I'm talking about, when in fact I'm completely making it up at all times. Um, yeah, so we're frying the corn until the bottom, which we cannot see, has little toasty spots on it. So at some point, we're going to have to just get in under there and see what it looks like. You're going to spread my ideas to the general public. Good. I mean, that's why I make stuff up. Let's see how we're looking. Not quite. Not quite. I may have overfilled the pan slightly. No, actually, we're getting there on some of them. We're getting there on some of them. We should reuse that pan after I get that out of there too, rather than getting another pan dirty. Okay, while that stuff is toasting, we'll get back to that in a sec. The beans are going to get cheesed, and soon. This is Oaxaca cheese. If you cannot find Oaxaca cheese, the next closest thing is probably mozzarella. But Oaxaca has more flavor than mozzarella. It's a similar young... It's a young, melty cheese. They stretch it out into a rope, and then they tie it into a knot to make a ball. Hence this. So I guess it's like a string cheese because they stretch it out into a rope. It's got a little more flavor than mozzarella, and it's a little bit bouncier because it's a little bit less of a young cheese. Ooh, air fryer would be a great way to shortcut this stage. Speaking of which, yeah, look at those toasty spots. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Toasty spots. Make sure nobody's sticking. Air fryer would be a great way to shortcut this, I think. Just make sure to shake frequently, because these are small things, and edamame are a bit bigger. I think if you just did corn, it would make a mess in your air fryer, because they're small enough to go through the little gaps. Open up your beans. Add to it your cheeses. Stuff really is like string cheese. Oh, I was supposed to fish the chili peppers out so that they don't get wrapped up in the cheese. Because their purpose is to give you a gentle heat, hence being thrown in late and then pulled out. I'm not sure how much cheese I want. Again, kind of just winging these recipes. I am going to give it just a little bit more liquid because the cheese is going to thicken it up even more. Anyways, it's got to be warm enough for the cheese to melt. So we do want to take it back to the burner that's on. Once upon a time, here on the channel, I did a thing where I made American pizza, where I used all ingredients from the Americas to make a pizza. That's looking good. That corn is looking good. And the cheese I selected for that was this cheese we're using today, Oaxaca, because it is, not flavor-wise, but in terms of its use properties, its meltability and such, it is very similar to mozzarella. Actually, I bet you if you couldn't find this stuff, the next closest thing would be like American-sized string cheese, American-style string cheese, those little logs. Grab a couple of those. Those are usually made out of provolone, but it's a really, really young provolone. Oof, these beans look so good. This corn looks also very good. Take the heat off the corn. Heat off the corn. Let it cool on its own a little bit. Our bean mixture, it's got this stringiness from the cheese that's in it, which probably means I added a little bit too much cheese, but you know how we are up here in the upper Midwest. There's no such thing as too much cheese. Also, High Glacier, you're not first. Congratulations. No one can ever take that away from you, not being first. I'm going to taste this. We're not going to just assume I've done it right. We're going to taste and adjust. It's definitely not the texture for a dip. The beans are very beany in there still. We might give it an additional mash. Even. The flavor is good. It's got more spice than I was expecting. So no more spice. You could probably use just a little bit of salt, but not a... I know what it needs. It needs a little bit of black pepper. Not a ton, a little bit. Just a little bit. A couple grinds. And I'm going to give it just the pinchiest pinch of salt. I have, in fact, in complete seriousness, dipped cheese in cheese and eaten it. That is an actual thing. I have, at a restaurant, ordered cheese with cheese dip and nothing else and consumed that. This is an actual thing. And also, when I did this thing, no one looked at me strangely. It was a normal behavior, as far as they could tell. Okay. It's a little more on the beanie side, less on the puree side, which is fine. That's what I was going for. But again, if you're going for a dip, I would get that immersion blender we just used, and I would immersion blend the heck out of this. Get it real smooth. But I wanted a little bit of texture in this, so I'm not going to do that. At least not for the part that I'm going to put in the burrito. I might immersion blend some of the extra and put it on the plate. No piqui. Hi, welcome. The chorizo might have been spicy. I also am only, after I said it's more spicier than I remembered that I did not seed out my jalapenos, and I also put a chipotle and adobo sauce in there. So there's 3 kinds of hot peppers in there. It's not overwhelmingly spicy, but it is noticeably spicy. Huge wheel of Longhorn Colby. I live by Colby. Colby's right up the road. Colby became chips. I know where Colby comes from. Colby. It's right up the road. Those are really tasty beans. You do not have to go through all the effort that I went through for these beans, but frying some chorizo to mix into the beans, and then also putting some melty cheese into the beans. Keep that in your back pocket when you want to make a bean dip. Level up your bean dip. Okay, beans, corn, shrimp. Shrimps. Let's get that one just as low as it'll go, just to keep warm. I won't need any more bean liquid unless I dry this out. Corn can slide over to save some room. That one gets turned on. Do I use more lard? We've already got a bunch of elements going into the burrito. The corn is going to be a side salad. Also means I need to think about plate. I need to think about the plate before we come to a desperate end point. Everything else that's going on the corn goes on the corn cold. Well, it goes on the corn warm, but the other ingredients aren't heated, so I just need the corn to not get cold, get ice cold before that point, and we'll be fine. Flemish, are you okay? Flemish, are you okay? Do I use more lard here? I don't think I do. I don't think I want lard in the shrimp as well. So we're going to use some neutral oil instead. In this case, I'm using corn oil, one of the most reviled of all the neutral seed oils, according to those people online who are like, oh, seed oil is evil. You started Cinco de Mayo celebrations at 3 p.m. Okay, well, that explains it. You are indeed okay. We're going to get that hot. We're going to throw the shrimps in there. We're going to grill them up real quick. And then we're going to make burrito, and then we're going to plate. Which means I need to cut a few other things while that is heating. So we'll slide over, we'll grab a tomato, we'll grab a sharp knife. Benefits of having a sharp knife. You can cut tomatoes like this. Oop, oop, oh, usually. Without crushing them. But you need a really sharp knife to pull it off. This has been professionally sharpened. I didn't professionally sharpen it. I took it somewhere. But they did a good job. And it was free of charge. Because it was a deli. I need bowls. Bowls for holding. These off-season tomatoes aren't going to be the greatest tomatoes in the world because it's not tomato season. It's a little unfortunate that Cinco de Mayo lands where it does. I suppose in Mexico it's not just barely emerging from winter like it is up here. My oil is hot, so we're going to slide back over, get it spread around, and add our shrimps. That marinade smells really good. I might hang on to that and do something else with it. Yeah, they do, but they're never as good as fresh summer tomatoes. Because even in Mexico, it's not tomato season in the winter. It's just less challenging. I've actually been seeing a lot of tomatoes in the winter that are coming from Michigan and Canada. And I looked into it, and there are some big industrial greenhouses that are actually doing a really good job. Their output is not massive, so they sell them at a little bit of an inflated price, but they're actually really good tomatoes. Thank you, Flemish. I do strive for my food to not just taste good, but look good. This marinade of... It's a marinade of orange, garlic, guajillo chili, cumin, onion powder, and something else that I'm blanking on that I put in there. Something. There sure is something in there. Yeah, soon we won't be able to afford any imported tomatoes, and in the winter we just won't have tomatoes. That'll be it. I look forward to the day when we just simply can't have nice things. Shrimps don't take very long to cook, so we did flip them real quick. We're looking for the other side to look just about how this side looks, and then I'm going to pull them so they don't overcook, because these are nice shrimps, and I don't... Yeah, they're already probably... I would say they're already done. So I'm going to get out a dish to catch them in as well. They smell really good. You can really smell the shrimp in them, which those farm shrimp is not something you can usually say. They have a much richer shrimpy flavor, and the shells from these guys will make for some excellent stock when we get that far. They are definitely on the pricier side, and as you saw from the package I got them out of, I bought them on clearance sale and froze them. But if I wasn't such a budget hound, this is the kind of shrimp that I would be purchasing as my mainstay shrimp, because it's way better than the farm stuff coming out of East Asia. Let's see, we need to cut a lime. We unfortunately do not have a citrus juicer anymore, because the citrus juicer was defeated by the first lemon it ever encountered. Just killed it. Just absolutely killed it. You were all here for that. It was shocking. Avocado. Avocado, lime, white onion, fresh white onion. Jeez. The esquites need to come out of their pan. I didn't use the bay leaf at all, and I'm putting it away. I don't need the oregano anymore, and I'm putting it away. Onion powder, away. I do need 1 clove of garlic smashed. Chipotle and adobo sauce can go away. We're going to use the crema. We're going to use that powder. We're not going to use this chili pepper anymore. So that one can go away. All right, I'm cleaning up. Nothing is urgent right now, so I'm cleaning up real quick, tidying the realm. Because we need a space to do assembly. We're going to have to warm our tortillas. You always warm your tortillas before you try to do a thing with them. It makes them soft and pliant. Okay. Tomato, onion, lime, avocado, the other half of the tomato, some pepper, the other half of the onion. I'm just going to crush that one instead of digging the tools out. Cut, cut. I'm a smash. Garlic. I need to cut this guy up. I need to take his top off and gut him. Oh boy. Chop, 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 chop. Close enough. Okay, big bowl. Well, medium big bowl. This bowl, into which goes, oops, I left that burner on. I left that burner on. Oh, that burner's on the beans. That one was supposed to be on. I need my scraper. We could have made more corn. It shrank up quite a bit. We could have done that whole bag probably if I had a bigger pan. Or rather, if I had chosen to use a bigger pan. I have a bigger pan. In go some jalapeno. In go some crema. Homer. Hiya, Homer. Welcome, welcome. You're here. I guess it's not just in time for any. Well, just in time for me to be mixing up the Esquites here. Um, how's it going? Use your garlic press the other day the first time. Great job. Yep, the little basket, the little. This is why when you don't get to see it, but every time I use it, I take it immediately over to the sink and I put it in a bowl of water. Because it helps that little basket, the little presser basket, not get quite as gummed up. Our chili powder, our cotija cheese, which I can't find as a block anymore. I used to get it as a block, and I can only find it pre-crumbled now, and it's not as good. Am I talking about the slap chop? Yes, isosceles. I was talking about the slap chop. Mayonnaise. This is the only Mexican recipe I know that calls for mayonnaise. Lime, chili powder, mayonnaise, garlic, jalapeno. We're skipping the cilantro. Scallions. I think I'm going to have to duck outside. Find my scissors. Duck outside and grab one of my scallions. We don't need much. We don't need much. The other part of the fresh jalapeno here is going to go in its own little bowl because I don't know what to do with it and I don't want to throw it away just yet. I shouldn't have cut my avocado so early. It's starting to brown slightly. Little accordions of green pepper because I'm in a rush. Or not green pepper, green onion because I'm in a rush. The corn, the cheese. Yeah, that's all of our ingredients. I may have oversauced it slightly. It's supposed to look a little bit more like corn. It's going to taste amazing. It's going to taste amazing regardless, but it's supposed to look a little bit more like corn at this stage. I may have let my corn cool off a little bit too much as well. Because the mayonnaise wants to melt slightly. Put it over where there's residual heat. Oh, it needs some lime. Back to the old reamer. Back to the old reamer after our fiasco with the press. All right, stir that in. And that's a salad. You could tell by the tablespoon of mayonnaise and tablespoon of sour cream I put in it. And cheese. Okay. Okay. No, we're fine. We're moving on to the next phase of our lives. The final chapter. After this, we die. Something. What did you put in there? Cheese, tomatoes, frijoles, puercos, avocado, carne asada, we're doing shrimp, and a tortilla, and that's it. Which means we got to break out the tortilla. We're going to put a little bit of our Oaxaca in there. He used yet a different kind of cheese for this. Queso Chihuahua, which, if you want to make really good quesadillas, seek out Queso Chihuahua. That stuff is the stuff that makes the best quesadillas. Looking at what I've got available here, I'm going to make 2. I am going to heat them gently in our pan here. Pick your mind from in a block from Kroger. It's been a few months. You need to get another one, so hope it's still in the block. I didn't cut my avocado. I gotta cut my avocado real quick. Smaller knife. Man, I'm gonna miss avocado when it becomes illegal. These things are tasty. Sorry, was that a political statement? You guys warm yet over here? The bottom one is. The bottom one is. Yeah, that's what I said. They'll be illegal. Illegal. The ultra-rich can get illegal things right now. It's only illegal for poor people. That's how stuff works. Okay, wow, these beans smell really good. Um, tighten our belts, yeah. A nice big whack of beans. Waka waka beans. Maybe actually slightly less of that of beans. Don't want to overfill it. This thing, that thing. So some cheese, some of our shrimps, some fresh onion, some fresh tomato. I am going to give us just a little sprinkle of the jalapenos. Bring our sides in. No, bring our top in, then bring our sides in. Overfill it, of course. That was bad fold, but it came out okay. And then we put it in our pan with the heat now turned up. And then we do the same thing, but again. So I think 2 big whacks of beans is all we need. A lot of beans. The shrimps probably should have been chopped up to make the burrito a little bit easier. They kind of, because of their shape, they kind of fight with the folding process here. Yep, coffee's gonna go. A whole bunch of things are gonna go. A lot of stuff's gonna go. It's gonna be a time. May you live in interesting times. Yeah, that's how we fold it. Fold it away so then you can really... Perfect. That's how you fold a burrito. You fold it away. I folded the first one towards myself, bizarrely. But that there is how you fold a burrito. And then we have it join its buddy, the one that I folded weird. There in the pan. If it weren't for the lard, this might be the healthiest meal I've ever made. This is not the healthiest meal I've ever made, even without the lard. Yeah. We've done okay. Not to conflate vegan cooking with healthy food, because never forget, Oreos are vegan. Um, but I have done vegan cooking, and I have done deliberately like health conscious cooking on occasion. For spectacle show cooking, we often drift into the realm of, you know, spectacle. Toasting your burritos like this, first of all, will help us melt that cheese that I put in there. It'll also keep the flap. It'll get the flap to stay. That one. And it'll give us a little bit of textural interest on the outside. You can see the burritos, definitely one of them was folded correctly, if unskillfully, and one of them was folded incorrectly and unskillfully. What plate are we using? We're at the point where I need to pick a plate. We have burrito, which I'm going to cut in half, reddish brown and brownish yellow. So I am thinking red plate. Green plate would be good. I don't have a green plate, but a green plate I think would be good here. Brown with the olive leaves. Yellow. Yellow? Yellow. I think yellow will work here. Okay. We are just going to serve stuff on a plate, not... We could. We could turn one of these burritos into a chimichanga. Kinda. It's not exactly what a chimichanga is. Heat off. Flank our beans and esquites. Cheese our beans. Parsley our esquites. If you put parsley on it, it becomes healthy. That's the rule. It should be cilantro. If you're a cilantro eater, do that, but with cilantro. Oop, my burrito has stuck to my pan. That's the one we're going to cut in half. Ooh, boy, that one got a little toasty on top. That's fine. I'm going to let it be a little toasty on top. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, let's go take a picture of this plate. It's fine. It's a fine plate, I guess. It's not my best work, but darn does it smell good, and damn it isn't going to taste good. So, but I want to get in it while it is still nice and piping hot, because these are all things that will definitely suffer from cooling off. So yeah, that's the plate. We have a little bit of cleanup to do around here, but that's the plate. Burrito. What was it? What was it? This is called a It's the Sonoran style burrito, but I did it with shrimp. So, I don't think Sonora has a coast, because it's a desert. Oh, no, it has a coast. Kinda. It's close to a coast. Close enough. Close enough that I'll fudge it. So, Sonoran burrito, Burrito de Sonora, Frijoles, Puercos, and Esquites, for which I need a spoon, but we're going to start with the main event. I got a cheese ball. I did it away from the camera. You couldn't see it. I got an epic cheese pull. Wow, that's got waves to it. Let me tell you what. If you like shrimp, get those good shrimp. Dang, you can. I'm not sad about using shrimp instead of beef, because boy, the shrimp flavor just does not hide in these, which is great, because the beans are quite strong as well. They're rich, they're creamy, they're slightly acidic, they're fatty. Let's see if I can get a cheese pull on camera. Very cheese pull. Queso Oaxaca is a great cheese for doing cheese pulls as well. I really like the fresh veggies in there. I really like the fresh onion, the crunch of the fresh onion. The fresh tomato is getting a little bit lost. If it was a in-season ripe tomato, I'm sure it would, like the other flavors, jump out. But these weird winter tomatoes just don't have the flavor to stand up. That's so good. I'm also really hungry, so I'm going to absolutely obliterate this plate of food. Before we try to mix and match stuff, I'm going to taste things individually. I have been tasting the Frijoles Puercos along the way, but let's give it a taste by itself. We didn't puree the beans, so there's some bean texture in there. There's a little bit of a bite to it. It's rich. It's a little bit spicy. It's got a smokiness to it, which I'm not sure if that comes from the chipotle or if that comes from the fact that I burned the bottom a little bit. But there's a little bit of a smokiness comes through. It's got an acidity to it from the vinegar. I may have added a little bit too much vinegar. Just a probably should have just been a splash. Because it's supposed to be the vinegar from the pickling liquid from the pickled jalapenos that it asked for. And I just added some white vinegar instead, which is more concentrated. That said, easy to balance that out because you just serve it with something fatty. You serve it with something with cheese or a greasy meat or something. It makes it a good complement, even though it itself is quite fatty. So it really kind of, it's good. I would make some tweaks. I wasn't really following a recipe for that one. I was kind of following a recipe, but I was kind of winging it. I would make a few tweaks. Thanks, Bob. I think this wasn't one of my best, but it's hard to make a really artful plating out of these things. They're not meant to be stacked in each other. Let's taste the Esquites. I definitely oversauced the Esquites, but overdressed them. But damn, they're really good. They're chewy because we toasted the corn, and they've got a nutty flavor from those brown spots. And then the dressing is creamy and garlicky. Like it's creamy and sour and garlicky, which is a great combination. And again, these things are just the balances are really good. The only thing I think I would change straight up, a little bit less of the creamy part of the dressing and a little bit less vinegar. Otherwise, I would make no notes on the burrito. That thing is amazing. We could do that. I could toast up the remaining corn in the bag and then mix that into this corn just to thin out the dressing, because we do have more corn. We would just need to toast that corn in order to do that, and that wouldn't take very long. It didn't, as you saw, it did not take long at all to toast the corn. But yeah, I think we overshot the dressing a little bit because I wasn't measuring stuff. I was just kind of eyeballing it. And I think if I had done either the crema or the mayonnaise, we'd have the right amount. But since I did the right amount twice, we ended up with too much. Put that cheese away. But this, you wanted me to dip this in the beans. I'm going to scoop the beans onto it. Those shrimp are so good. They taste so shrimpy. My God. Seriously, they're like the best shrimp I've had. Just in terms of the shrimpiness. What I did to them is also tasty, but it kind of mixes in with all the other flavors. The shrimpiness of these shrimp just kind of jumps out at you. I am going to have to make a note of those and seek them out in the future because those are good shrimp. I don't know that it's improved by dipping it in the beans. I think the beans are a good side, and they're a good addition to the interior of the burrito. I don't know that you need that much more of them. What we should test out as a combo, though, is the Esquites with the beans. Because they're doing different things. Interesting. They don't mix together, but they don't fight with each other either. They just kind of, you get both of them at the same time, and it makes the beans less sticky in your mouth. The corn kind of gets in there and breaks them up. I'm having a good day. I'm having a good time here eating these things. I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't know about the rest of you. But darn. But dang. But dang. I don't know what more to say other than, hey, get out there. Try these shrimp. These are red Gulf of Mexico shrimp. Gulf shrimp. And make burritos in the Mexican style where they're flatter and thinner like this, and they don't have a bunch of starch in them. The starch is the tortilla. That's putting rice in a burrito is like putting rice inside of a sandwich. It's a starch. You can do it if that's what you're looking for, but it's another starch inside of a starch. And the burrito places do it to bulk up their burrito to make it look bigger without actually having to put more stuff in it. Nothing special, just a banderita, but the big kind. Just be sure to warm them just before you want to use them, because that makes them easy to fold and they won't crack. And then folding just takes a little bit of practice. I have never made my own burrito or my own tortillas. If you wanted to make like really proper ones, you'd make your own, because then you could make them even bigger and thinner. The super thin ones don't package well, and they also kind of get brittle much more easily, so you won't really find those in stores. Would a burrito made with esquites instead of the shrimp? I mean, you can make a burrito with anything. The esquites is not served hot. So if you put that in the burrito and then toasted the burrito, the mayonnaise component would probably try to split. So if I was intending to do that, I think I would just go with the crema instead of the mayonnaise, to make it less likely to be like drippy when you cut into it. Otherwise, I don't see why it wouldn't work. The flavors go well together. Sorry. Every time I take a bite of these shrimp, I'm like, this is the best shrimp ever. Exactly, Glacier, like cheese inside of cheese, although there's also cheese in these burritos. Also, if you want to make good Mexican food, get actual Mexican cheese. Don't get the Mexican cheese blend. It usually has cheddar in it. Often it has cheddar and either Monterey Jack or Colby in it, which are not Mexican cheeses and do not have the Mexican flavors that you're looking for. They use them because they bulk up those mixes because they're inexpensive cheeses. But for something like this, Oaxaca. For something where you want the melty cheese pulls, Oaxaca is good, but the king of that is the Chihuahua. That's the kind you get in a actual quesadilla. We're over 2.5 hours. I'm going to wrap us. I think I'm going to wrap. I don't have much more to say about this, and I want to get at these things while they are still hot. Burritos are also very filling, so the one that I folded badly, I guess I'm going to hang on to and eat that one tomorrow. Because beans are very filling. The thing is, this plate is going to fill me up, even though I was very hungry to begin with. Because the beans are very filling. The corn is very filling. And this has corn, or has beans and more in it. Like, beans fill you up. So yeah, let's bring back to my face. Throw out some thanks. Thanks to Flemish. Thanks to Bookwoman for the resubs. Thanks to Lady Vivienne for the follow. Way back at the beginning of stream. And of course, thanks to Fraz for a huge raid. 68 people. 68 of you showed up. Some of you were still here. A couple of you were still here. Let's see who's on so I can share the love. Pay it forward, as they say. My stuff's looking a little thin. We could go see Chef JT, who is cooking also for Cinco de Mayo. Oh, Rayu's got our raid messages. As always, thank you so much, Rayu. I should just make you an official mod at some point, Rayu. You're on top of this stuff all the time. I don't know how English cheese can be Mexican, but if you look at the Mexican cheese, the shredded blend always has cheddar in it. It's weird. Yeah, let's go see Chef JT. He's making enchiladas for... Well, he doesn't say he's making it for Cinco de Mayo, but it's Cinco de Mayo and he's making enchiladas. So I'm going to put 2 and 2 together. So we're going to go over there. We haven't seen him in a bit. Another one of those chefy types. Let's go say hi. Rayu, you dropped the raid messages. Grab the top one if you're a sub. Grab the bottom one if you are not. I'm going to enjoy this while it is still nice and warm. My stream preview is lagging out all of a sudden, so this might be a good time to get out of here. Thanks, y'all, for showing up. Thanks for sticking around. I already thanked the individual events. I have more spare time this week than I've had for the past while, so I'm hoping to squeeze in another... I'm hoping we can squeeze in a bonus stream this week. So stay tuned. Link to the Discord is at the top of the chat. I pinned it up there. That's the best place to find the pictures. And I can't think of anything else I want to say. So we're going to wait for the countdown. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for all you do for me. I'll try to get a haircut by the time we get here next time. There's the countdown. Bye.